Hey everybody, welcome to Disneyopolis. I'm Bryan. We're back at City Hall for another great show. We're not actually in City Hall though, we're outside of City Hall because this fella back here, the one who thinks he's wearing sunglasses, they're actually 3D glasses. Don't tell him that though. Anyway, he was crawling through the ductwork the other day and came out covered in a bunch of nasty soot. Didn't look right, we had it tested. Asbestos, these old buildings, you know. Anyway, so we thought we'd come outside and we'll do a couple shows out here. Anyway, I'm glad you're with us. Fantastic topic today. Today we're going to talk about Disney animated movies or quasi-animated movies that we wish Disney would remaster into 3D. Now 3D has become all the rage, and most of the new movies that are made in 3D. So, we're not breaking new ground here as such, but what we are doing is we're attempting to find some classic Disney films, at least classic in my mind, that we'd love to see remastered into 3D films, because I think the 3D glasses, especially like the ones that this character over here is wearing, would make that experience all that much better. And Disney already in the parks has some experience doing things like this, particularly with Mickey's PhilharMagic. Just a wonderful, wonderful show, and It's a Bug's Life. It's Tough to Be a Bug. I always get that messed up somehow, but let's just jump into it. I've got 5 movies in mind that I think would be great in 3D and a couple honorable mentions. We'll count them backwards, so I'll give you my honorable mentions right up front. The first one is not totally and completely Disney, but then it is, and that is Robert Zemeckis' film Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Would that not be fantastic in 3D? It'd give us an opportunity to see all that wonderful action in all the glorious things that 3D affords to us. But I'd love to see Who Framed Roger Rabbit in 3D. That would be my first honorable mention. My second one is a film that barely made its budget, so I don't think there's any hope at all that that would ever happen. But Treasure Planet. Yes, a very young Joseph Gordon-Levitt provided the voice of one of the primary characters, Jim. And we would just love to see this remade. It was kind of that mix-up, mash-up of pirate adventure and sci-fi, but I really do think that this one would actually come off really nicely in 3D. So those are my honorable mentions. Number 5 on the list of movies I'd love to see remastered into 3D, Peter Pan. Great movie, great story writing. Disney, as always, does a fantastic job with it, and especially if you've ever ridden the Peter Pan ride at Magic Kingdom, how about seeing that wonderful scene where they're flying over London? That would be fantastic. I'd love to see that again in 3D, and there's all other kinds of elements in that film that would lend themselves to, that would lend itself to the 3D treatment. So number 5 for me would be Peter Pan. Number 4, Mary Poppins. Now we're getting a live action remake of this, and I think it's going to be fantastic. Emily Blunt's going to be in it, but I would still like to see the original, the first, with Julie Andrews, Dick Van Dyke, and the crew, and I would absolutely love to see that redone in 3D, remastered. That mix of animation and live action, I think, would just pop off the screen as a 3D movie. Well, I mean, by its very definition, they'll pop off the screen anyway. It's 3D after all. But Mary Poppins would be number 4 for me. Number 3, The Lion King. This movie, yes, it's animated, but this has such lush scenery. Yes, I know it's animated scenery, but it is wonderfully drawn, and I think it would lend itself well to the 3D format. I think it would just be gorgeous to see that whole film, done up in a 3D treatment. And again, they've already had a little experimentation with this with Mickey's PhilharMagic, so there's that. Number 2 on the list would have to be Aladdin. Again, if you've noticed, a lot of these have flying scenes in them, like, of course, Peter Pan, and then, of course, Aladdin, where they're flying through Agrabah, and they're on the magic carpet. But even when you look beyond the magic carpet, and just the way some of these scenes are made and the action behind this, particularly with Genie, I think it'd be fantastic. And the great part is you wouldn't have to redo the voice for the late Robin Williams. You could just use the same audio track, and let's face it, he really made that movie. He just did. So, and finally, my number 1 pick for a movie that I would love to see get the 3D treatment, hands down, Fantasia. This was a movie that was ahead of its time. It was meant to be an experimental piece of art, really, to see how you could meld classical music to the wonderful palette that is an animated feature-length movie. And if we could put this in 3D, I really think that it would become the movie Walt envisioned that it would have been. You know, it was a little bit before 3D's time. I mean, there was some experimental work done on, in the movies, but nothing like what we have today. Again, I'd love to see that remastered. Disney, if you're watching, Disney, if you're listening, these films would really, really they'd be wonderful in 3D. As I said before, pun intended, they would jump off the screen at you, and I really think we'd be the better for it. Anyway, that's my list of movies that I would love to see get the 3D treatment from Disney. Classic animated movies, or a mixing of live and animated features. What are yours? Leave it in the comment section down below. We would love to hear from you as to what you think, what movies you would like to see brought to life by the magic of a three-dimensional treatment. As always, we appreciate you stopping by. The comment section is below. Leave other comments if you'd like. We like your criticism, constructive, of course. And then, of course, give us a thumbs up. That button's down there as well. And as always, we thank you so much for stopping by, and we'd love to see you as a subscriber. When you subscribe, you do get the first notification that there is a new video to watch on our channel. So, again, thank you. As always, I'm Bryan. That's Paper Duffy. We are Disneyopolis. We are everything Disney all the time. We'll see you next time.